foie gras. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With significant losses of over 35% of revenue over the utter failure of the Durex for Kids scheme, could I now ask the Secretary of State his consensus on the crossfire of opposing taxation policies throughout the conclusive breach of the pig fellatio bill? The range of data recently published, Mr. Speaker, shows a clear 35% increase despite the initial decline of the £3.2 billion of additional capital. This has left entire boroughs flaccid, especially those in the 3 to 10 years of age bracket, whose educational and social care services were cut drastically by 376% in spite of the neglected availability of fish. This government should be ashamed of itself. Jeremy Cunt. Well, I put it back to you that it's your party that should be ashamed of itself for leaving us in financial turmoil 10 years ago. The critical point remains that we have ensured increased access to mandatory social services, as well as the additional 83% increase in overall funding to extra strong mints, none of which engaged my right honourable friend Mr. Salami to reiterate the overall wealth tax being diminished by 35%. A feat that your party failed in even getting a finger in. If I may finish, this 35% increase in decrease is substantially lower than the previous 63% capital, which again increased access to the total budget, reaching £9.3 billion for the social funding. 10%, £6 million wealth tax terrorism. In real terms, capital increased access clearly shows that this government, Mr. Speaker, can boldly state that the only thing to be ashamed of, as the Minister, my right honourable friend, stated on partisan points, is that your party smells of doo-doo. Order! Fruity Loops.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So this government gloats about its staff hour cuts, its cuts to transgender foot massage and its consultations, the increase in need for mental health services, none of which do quieten down, please, none of which acts within the EU implementations that we need increased access to brandy and caviar.
Sustained. Jackie Squelch.
I must declare interest in deprived areas in the north, south, east, west areas of England, who have no trading opportunities for smoked salmon. Let me finish. Now, I refute this party's allegations of alleged slippy snaps, irregardless of fat chunks being the right honourable gentleman's statistical data sources. I put it to the Minister that it is his party that has made 20% cuts despite an expected increase in terrorism, terrorists, radical Islam, regarding all matters relating to the subsidiaries in the oral health sector. The same party that uses severed feet to increase trade with caviar, I conclusively assure that the honourable gentleman's party smells like eggy farts.
Order! Slim Dicks.
No, you smell like eggy farts, you pooty face.
Theodore Clipty-Clop. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In my hands, I have the 2018 financial records, in which all the statistical data clearly states, and I quote, throughout the environmental... If you'll let me finish, please. Throughout the environmental scheme's positional months of June to September, the Labour Party had an overall decrease totalling 62.3% in sexy bits, and a vast increase of 78% in smelling of both doo-doo and of eggy farts. Order! He's got a gun!
I mean, literally, what the fuck are you doing?
Security! God, he's tied the police.
Fucking security squad. Now listen up! Shut up! Posh degenerate bunch of cunts. You're meant to be the representatives of England, not some weird fucking alien species. How the fuck do you expect anyone to relate to you? To this place, to all this bullshit? Well, I'm going to guess that that's the intention of this brandy-gurgling rabble. Here's the issue, chaps. It's too much pork, it's too much private schooling, it's too much fucking money, it's not even a thimble's worth of understanding on what it's like to be a person surrounded by depressed, fucked up people. What's meant to be one of the best countries in the world. It's twisted. I mean, just fucking look at yourselves. The Prime Minister looks like a fucking Sith Lord, for crying out loud. Politics is meant to be the science of finding the best possible way for us all to coexist. Now consider this a friendly first warning from your good mate Lophtus. You want to govern people's lives? That's fucking fine, man. Fill your boots. It's a bit degrading to me personally, but truth be told, if you lot fucked off now, we couldn't govern ourselves to save our lives. But if you want to create people's versions of reality, then cut the shit.
Fuck off! Here come the police! The police!